Now, if you've been following along the Microsoft Customer Agreement entire training that we've released, and you've listened to me talk for the past hour or so, then you probably also want to hear some conclusions on why the Microsoft Customer Agreement and what's happening here. So with that, I want to move into the takeaways and our key takeaways. You can see here on screen. I think Microsoft will put a lot of focus on the MCA going forward. We already see that with a lot of clients that we have been helping. So that Microsoft is actively now positioning the MCA as the go-to platform for not just Azure, but also for any other products. So M365, Dynamics 365, Power Platform licenses you can all buy through the MCA, and they're pushing this more and more. I expect that to grow towards the future. I also expect that many organizations are not ready for this yet. Why? Because, for instance, you would still need a separate option for the on-premise licenses, and there's hardly a company out there, especially one moving away from an enterprise agreement, that doesn't have a mix of cloud licenses and on-premise licenses. There's always Windows Server, SQL Server, Visual Studio, you name it. There's probably a lot of other on-premise products that you're still using, which you have to search a different solution for. You could put it in a server and cloud environment next to an MCA, but then the question is, why would you not renew under the enterprise agreement in its entirety? So the MCA also is already the platform through which CSP customers, partners, contract with end customers. So the new commerce experience, NCE, was set up under the MCA agreement. So if you've been using CSP through any of your partners, that is already you using the MCA. However, there's now the direct Microsoft-led option available to you as well. So if you think that you have a better or could get a better price through going direct through Microsoft instead of through your partner, because your partner is just passing through the licenses and isn't adding, for instance, anything on top of that. Like Microsoft wants the CSP partners to build out their own product portfolio on top of CSP, so that there's actually additional value for you there. If you don't have that, it might be interesting to go check out the Microsoft-led option within MCA, because it gives you the same ways to procure licenses, but then directly from Microsoft and not through a partner who might ask for a large margin on top of the price. So it's soon up and running for all cloud services. Right now, many products already available. There's just some items here or there that might not be there yet. One of the options I've already called out in other videos is the from SA pricing. Step-ups aren't available. Those type of things might not become available in the MCA, only time will tell at the moment. What we've seen is that it's a totally new portal and structure to the old way of working, so it will have an impact on your IT asset management. So you would have to envision, how does Microsoft work through the MCA? What is different to how I'm doing it now with the enterprise agreement, and then create your IT asset management around that. I'm not saying it's more difficult, I'm only saying it's different, and with change comes impact to your organization, so do be aware of you having to review what that means as well. Now finally, next up, Microsoft already switched license insights to different portals. So if you've been following the earlier videos, then you already know that, or you've maybe even been aware yourself, that the VLSC is slowly being phased out and everything moves to the Microsoft 365 admin port center. Also, any insight that you got through the VLSC earlier, for instance, also on Visual Studio subscribers, has all moved as well. Price protection, the 3-year price protection is available, but as far as I know, this is mainly for Dynamics 365 products, because you usually want to lock those in for a longer period of time. The 1-year term for user-based licenses is quite short. If you are someone that's planning far ahead, you want to have that price consistency, especially looking at how Microsoft has been evolving their current pricing with many price increases over the past years. You might want to investigate what your options are for longer term price locks, not to exceed prices, potential locking in a specific uplift if that's of importance to you, so that you can have more price prediction towards the future than what is currently available. So I want to call that out as an issue that I might see if you are planning on moving from the enterprise agreement to the Microsoft customer agreement. It's one size fits all, as I like to call it. There is some customization possible through specific standardized amendments, but I've yet to see the availability within MCA for any custom amendments. And that's still, I think, the power of the enterprise agreement, that you can negotiate something that is not generally available through other volume licensing programs, in the sense that you can get a longer term for your contract, like 5 years. You could build in specific thresholds on kickbacks that you might be able to get. There's a lot of different items that you can negotiate within an enterprise agreement that is not readily available as customizable within the MCA. So many big organizations worldwide, I'm talking the Fortune 500 for instance, they might have heavily customized contracts. Those are not ready, as far as I'm aware, to be included into the Microsoft customer agreement. So I would advise you to push back on it, because also it doesn't tie into the enterprise agreement contracts. Like any customization you have done, for instance, on your Microsoft business and services agreements, will not count towards what you purchase under the MCA. That ties into the next point of legal. Many clauses in the MCA contract stack seem to be different from what is currently known from the enterprise agreement. If it's of interest to you, I am working on a deep dive, so do let me know if you want to get this rather sooner than later, where I want to show how certain clauses from, for instance, the MBSA in the enterprise agreement have changed within the move to the MCA contract. Finally, and that's where I want to leave you with today, the product and cloud services specific language. That's not initially included in the MCA contract. So you sign a evergreen agreement, but it's mainly about the high level terms and conditions. And if you purchase then specific cloud services, for instance, Microsoft's premise for the MCA is that will have additional supplemental terms associated to it. But how does Microsoft handle these? We're not sure yet of how Microsoft handles that. And we're also not sure on what this looks like, because I don't have an MCA, so I cannot include products into this to see what that does and means for the products that I want to buy.